right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Tragedy in Lincoln County. A woman and 3 teens killed in a head-on crash.
It's a very dangerous road.
Tonight, neighbors demanding changes.
Extremely windy conditions today with gusts over 40, near 50 miles an hour. How much longer we can expect it to be this windy, and what will warm up just a little bit more.
First tonight, remembering a St. Louis legend.
Swinging along one, there it is, baby. The Cardinals take the lead.
A 2-time World Series champion with his hometown team, and the voice of the Cardinals for generations of fans. Tonight, the tributes pouring in for Mike Shannon. Our voice, our friend, and an icon. Tonight, that is how the franchise is remembering Cardinals Hall of Famer Mike Shannon. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Today we learned Shannon died at the age of 83. He was part of the Cardinals organization for more than 60 years. First as a player, then a broadcaster with his iconic "Get Up, Baby" call for home runs. Sports director Frank Cusimano joins us now with more on Shannon's life and legacy.
Mike, the fun story goes like this. In spring training, the first year of Mike Shannon's broadcasting career in Florida, Jack Buck asked Mike to get the umpires. Mike brought all the umpires to the booth. Jack just wanted their names. The point is, Mike Shannon had influence, and if he wanted you to do something, you would do it. He was also an incredible athlete, a 3-sport superstar at CBC, a baseball phenom who broke records in basketball and was recruited to play quarterback at Mizzou, where some said he could have won the Heisman. 1964 was the first of 3 pennants that Shannon would win with the Cardinals as a player.
Game 1 of that World Series.
Ready now, here's a pitch to Shannon. Swung on, deep into left field.
A home run off Whitey Ford is a local kid.
Back goes Fresh. This ball is home run. A home run.
That must have been the greatest throw of your life.
Well, it was.
Mike Shannon has just tied this ball game up with a tremendous home run off the scoreboard.
On the way home, I stopped and bought a paper. That's when they had 2 papers, and then the Morning Globe had come out already, and it had big block letters, Shannon, home run, such and such, you know.
After 9 years as a player, Shannon began a 50-year broadcasting career, and sleep wasn't a part of the game plan.
We'd play golf in the morning, and then we'd go to the racetrack in the afternoon, and then the ballpark at night, and then we'd have a toddy or 2. That was the routine, and then we'd start it all over again.
But those calls, those unforgettable Shannon, high-energy, unfiltered moments in the booth.
Brummer's the big runner, he's at third. Brummer's stealing home, he is safe, and the Cardinals win. Brummer stole home. Swinging a ground ball. The third baseman Overthrow has it. The throw. Force has pitched a no-hitter. It's the first time in the history of Cardinal baseball that a pitcher has 2 no-hitters. Swinging along one, there it is, baby. The Cardinals take the lead as Albert Pujols comes through in the pit, and the Redbirds lead this baby 5-4.
Mike Shannon was the father of 5. He lived the fullest of lives. He wasn't cheated out of a single second. He was cheered as a player and adored as a broadcaster. And I bet St. Peter told him today at the pearly gates what most of St. Louis is saying right now. A job well done.
What do you want somebody to say about you when you walk out of this booth for the final time?
Well, that he enjoyed himself, and I'm pretty sure they say that.
Mike is survived by his wife Lori, his 5 kids, and his 18 grandkids. There will never be another Mike Shannon.
Talk a little bit more about what a great athlete he was, because the coach Frank Broyles, as you mentioned, once said that if he continued to play football, he could have won the Heisman Trophy.
Mike, at CBC, he broke scoring records in basketball. We obviously know about his enormous baseball talent, but quarterback was the one thing that he may have done best. He went to Mizzou for a year, but the chance to play for the hometown Cardinals was too enticing, and that's why he chose baseball. We'll have much more on his incredible life coming up on Sports Plus, step by step. We've done dozens of interviews with him. You're going to love it.
All right. We'll look forward to that, Frank. Thanks. In announcing Shannon's passing today, Cardinals owner Bill DeWitt Jr. said, quote, Mike's unique connection to Cardinals fans and his teammates was reflected in his unbridled passion for the game, the Cardinals, and the St. Louis community. Cardinals pitcher Adam Wainwright is also offering his condolences, saying Shannon's love of Cardinals baseball and St. Louis as a whole was always on full display. A great storyteller and friend, he will be missed. Fans are also paying tribute. The news broke today, just hours before the Cardinals took the field in Los Angeles. Mark Maxwell continues our team coverage tonight. He's live outside Busch Stadium with reaction from Cardinals Nation.
Mike Shannon didn't just hit iconic moonshots out of the ballpark. He described those moments in a way that brought fans into the stadium.
Tributes to Mike Shannon crackled across the airwaves over St. Louis after Sunday's Cardinals game.
He's just a true treasure that grew up here in St. Louis.
He was an icon in St. Louis for so long. When he broke into the big leagues, construction crews had not yet broken ground on the arch.
It has been a tough day for Cardinals fans.
Cardinals radio postgame host Matt Pauley fielded calls for Shannon on KMOX radio.
And share your thoughts, share your memories.
The All-American athlete grew up to hit a home run for his hometown Cardinals in Game 1 of the 1964 World Series. He shared dugouts with Bob Gibson, Stan Musial, and Roger Maris. Shared a broadcast booth with Jack Buck, Harry Carey, and John Rooney. But what he loved most was to share stories with Cardinals fans for 50 years.
The biggest compliment I get is the visually impaired. When they come to the ballpark and they bring a radio, they say, well, the picture's painted for me.
If you were listening to a game on the radio, you could see the game. It was pretty neat.
Susan Cole was just sitting down at Lester's in Ladue when she and her friends learned Shannon died.
I loved him playing third base. He was a really great third baseman. It was a lot of fun to watch him play. And I think a couple of beers always made him, a lot more fun, too.
So many of his calls just stick with you forever.
Take a little whiff of that, big boy.
Turn on the TV and you hear a voice, especially someone like Shannon, you know it's the Cardinals.
For Corey Bruns, hearing Shannon's signature catchfriz meant his customers were having a good day.
He's got so many great Shannonisms, as they call it. Get up, baby. Yeah, that's the one that comes to mind the most.
Get up, baby, get up. Yeah. Yeah.
These fans won't soon forget the Moon Man, a Cardinals star who brought them a slice of baseball heaven.
As much time of his life he put into the organization, I think the least they could do is a statue.
Mike Shannon had those triumphs, the 2 World Series, but also faced adversity. It was kidney disease that cut his playing days short, just 9 years in Major League Baseball, all 9 of them with the Cardinals before he would become an Emmy award-winning sportscaster. His son, Tim Shannon, said in a statement today, quote, "My dad lived his life to the fullest and he squeezed every drop from it." Live outside Busch Stadium, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
And again, our coverage of the death of Mike Shannon continues in 20 minutes on Sports Plus. Frank Cusimano and Corey Miller have put together an entire show that's a tribute to the late Cardinals legend. And right now on 5 Plus and YouTube, you can stream our 2019 sports special, Open Mic. It celebrates Shannon's Cardinals career. 5 Plus is free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. Developing tonight, St. Louis County Police investigating a possible murder-suicide at a North County apartment complex. A man and woman were found dead this morning at Lucas Hunt Village. Investigators say the man shot the woman in her apartment before turning the gun on himself. Their identities have not yet been released. Tonight, this man is in jail in connection to a deadly shooting on a Metrolink train. 69-year-old Terry Alexander is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Investigators say Alexander was arguing with 21-year-old Malachi Brown yesterday morning when he pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times. Brown returned fire. He later died at the hospital. No one else was arrested. Police arrested Alexander when the train stopped at the Maplewood Manchester station. Tonight, 4 people are dead, including 3 teenagers, after a crash in Lincoln County. The head-on crash happened last night on Highway 79, right outside Old Monroe, on what neighbors call a dangerous curve in the road. They tell our Laura Barczewski something needs to be done.
Dangerous, destructive, and deadly are all names Gina Holland would give to this road instead of its real name, Highway 79.
The 3 years I've lived here, 79 is a dangerous road, but it is definitely the most dangerous road at night.
Saturday night around 11:45, the Missouri State Highway Patrol says 4 teenagers in a Chevy Impala were driving southbound on 79 when they crossed into oncoming traffic, hitting a woman driving a Hyundai Elantra. Holland heard it all happen as she lay in bed.
And I kind of heard some screeching of some tires, and then I heard a boom.
This field and some trees are the only things separating their house from the hazardous highway they drive every day.
We could see the helicopter landing and taking off from here. I could see the flashing emergency lights and the smoke going up.
Highway Patrol says there was only one survivor, an 18-year-old young man who was airlifted to the hospital with serious injuries. Holland's mom, Cheryl, says the constant crashes are heartbreaking.
I cried for these people. I don't know these people, but I cried for them and their families.
The family says at night it looks like the headlights give the illusion the other cars are coming straight for you as you drive around the dangerous curve, which has a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit.
But they will come flying because it's a straightaway, not realizing this curve is down here either way. And then when you're coming around that mountain there, you don't see nothing until it's an impact.
Every time a crash happens here, the Holland family immediately texts each other to make sure someone they love hasn't been hurt or even killed.
And it's ridiculous that we have lost so many people and young kids on this road, and no changes have been made yet.
Reporting in Lincoln County, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
The Holland family is hoping lights and signs can be put up to get people to slow down on that curve. The crash is still under investigation. He survived 3 organ transplants and 2 forms of cancer.
I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for my dad's first donor.
Tonight, a St. Louis Soccer Hall of Famer's story of survival and how it inspired his daughter to become a nurse. Tonight, chilling new video of a Florida driver getting caught up in a tornado. The widespread damage that storm caused.
We only managed to make it to the mid to upper 50s today with that cool northwest wind. What that means for today and what we're going to expect as we head into the month of May.
April is Donate Life Month, and since there are only a few hours left in April, in tonight's Making a Difference report, the local man determined to remind all of us about the importance of organ donation. The strongest people aren't always the ones with the biggest muscles. Jim Teachins does work out every day.
I always felt the need to really train my body.
But his power is his perseverance. Teachins, a St. Louis Soccer Hall of Famer, was a pugnacious goalkeeper out of Oakville High School who played for the U.S. Under-19 national team.
I think back in those years, I probably played about 40, maybe 50 international games on the Under-19 team.
But at age 32, after a stellar career at St. Louis U and then the pros, he had to trade in his soccer shorts for a hospital gown.
The diagnosis was idiopathic cardiomyopathy.
Cardiomyopathy is a disease of the heart muscle that makes it harder for the heart to pump blood to the rest of the body. Both his dad and sister died from the condition in their 30s. To save his life, Jim Teachins needed a heart transplant.
Nationally, we lose about 3 in 5 people waiting. There's just not enough organs to go around, and there's not enough organs available to people when they get critically ill.
Teachins was one of the lucky ones, but it was only the first step on a lengthy staircase to survive.
Growing up, I got very used to the fact that my dad was kind of always sick, but able to live his life at the same time.
Over the past 3 decades, Teachins has undergone a kidney transplant, beaten stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as well as tongue and throat cancer.
I got to check my email.
It seemed his daughter Annie was spending as much time visiting hospitals as playgrounds.
I got so interested, and I wanted to go and I wanted to learn and understand everything that was happening to him.
Then in 2018, after Teachins got his second heart transplant, Annie found her work of art. Inspired by her dad's caregivers, she recently graduated and is now working as a BJC intensive care cardiac nurse.
She truly is excited about her job. She's a great individual. She's a great nurse already.
I heard her make a comment the other day that she can't believe that the people she works with now, you know, the surgeons, were the same people that had their hands inside my body.
Organ donation changed the end to this family's story.
I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for my dad's first donor. And now I have a life, and one day I'll get married, hopefully, and have kids, and that creates more lives. So you're not just saving one.
Jim Teachin says he thinks about and is grateful every day to his donors and their families, who helped us all to see there truly is life after death.
I don't think there's a greater gift, is there?
I don't think so. It's really inspiring.
At the Washington University and Barnes Jewish Transplant Center, their team of surgeons, doctors, and nurses has performed more than 10,000 organ transplants. A reminder, we're always looking for inspiring people and people making a difference. If you know a great story, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com. Just hours from now, the Mississippi River is expected to crest in the Quad Cities. In Bettendorf, Iowa, streets have been turned into rivers. Many homes have water that's waist high. Despite the damage, residents and officials are celebrating that the flood walls did their job. Caught on camera, a tornado flipping a car into the air as the storm crossed over a highway. It's not clear at this time if anyone was actually hurt. The National Weather Service confirms an EF2 tornado with winds up to 130 miles per hour caused widespread damage throughout Palm Beach County. And meteorologist Gary Frank joins us now with the Weather First forecast. Very windy here, but nothing like that, Gary.
Yeah, nothing like that. A different kind of wind, obviously. They got some really large, like baseball-sized hail and lots of hail for 2-3 days in a row. And so they've been getting the brunt of the severe weather, and we're on the colder side, obviously. It's tough when we've been so chilly, especially in the morning, but this has been a cold wind. You felt that all day. Just checking the flags here in Edwardsville, Illinois, the wind is settling down a little bit. Now, our peak wind speeds today went well into the 40s. We had Lambert 44, 47 in Chesterfield and St. Charles. So significant wind gusts, which will still continue tomorrow. I think those numbers will be slightly less, but still, temperature 56 degrees. We got a west breeze at 13 miles an hour. Our high was 58. Our average is 73 as we finish this month and start a new one tomorrow. And that's the main difference. Even right now, we're struggling. April in review, though, as we go ahead and close the book, we hit 85 a couple times, the 4th and the 19th. We did get to 36, the 7th and the 24th, so pretty late for that. 2.57 inches of rain. That was one of the drier months, actually, in the month of April here, as I fast forward just a little too quick here. But our temperature averaged 58.5. It was the 40th warmest. So we still are average in the top 10 starts of the year. Now, 58 degrees for a high today was the 12th coldest high temperature we've had on this date. So finishing the month cool, will we continue that into May? And this is one of the reasons why. This is a pretty cold system. It's struggling to get out of here, and we got rain. We're on the tail edge of that. And so we'll still hang on to those clouds in the overnight hours, but it's going to create this pressure gradient, which continues our wind. So tonight, the wind settles down a little bit, as I just showed you, but it's still a little breezy. We'll start off tomorrow. Because this system is very slow moving, I looped this for 12 hours. It's hardly moved at all. You can hardly tell. But what we're going to see is a couple of different things. Here's this really cold air, this low, this disturbance. We're in the middle of things. This is a little more settled weather. We have that pressure gradient jam. We usually get a pretty good wind, and it's out of the northwest. Now, eventually, this pattern changes a little bit. It's not going to settle us down forever, but it is going to do so by midweek. But until then, we're going to kind of drag that wind tomorrow. And so we've got a northwest wind at about 20 to 25 miles an hour. You'll see by Monday night, things settle down again. I think Tuesday, that trend continues. So for highs tomorrow, on the Illinois side, a little cooler. You're dragging some of those clouds. It's still breezy, gusts to at least 35 miles an hour. I do think our next chance for rain and unsettled weather arrives late Thursday, but more so on Friday, where maybe it's a little bit more widespread. So here at this point, nothing too warm to start off the month of May. 63, 64, as I just showed you. That's some 10 to 15 degrees below average, especially those cool mornings continue. We're in the mid-70s. Our best chance for rain probably Friday. We'll try to dodge it this weekend, and then still trying to warm up by early next week.
All right, Gary, thanks. A Metro East family loses everything in a devastating fire. Tonight, the community effort to help them start over. Tonight, a Metro East family is starting over after losing everything in a house fire. The fire broke out Friday afternoon on North Park Grove Court in O'Fallon, Illinois. A relative tells 5 on Your Side the homeowner was inside at the time and smelled smoke coming from the garage.
She said he opened the door and it was like pitch black, of just filled with smoke, and he could hear the flames.
No one was hurt, but the house was destroyed. There is a GoFundMe set up to help the family. Right now, they really need everyday essentials like clothing and toiletries. We have a link in the As Seen on TV section at KSDK.com. Tomorrow, a St. Louis County judge is expected to decide whether to grant a temporary restraining order on an emergency rule to block transgender care in Missouri. The rule, issued by Attorney General Andrew Bailey, was supposed to go into effect last week, but the judge issued a stay after the ACLU filed a lawsuit to block it. The rule would require all new patients to undergo 18 months of counseling before beginning medical interventions. Hundreds of people were in Forest Park this morning for the Muscular Dystrophy Association's Muscle Walk. People showed up to empower those who live with neuromuscular diseases like little Kinsey Graves, who was born with spinal muscular atrophy. But thanks to a brand new drug instead of a death sentence, she's a growing little girl, and money raised today helps find those cures.
There's a bunch of people that here that may not even be affected by a muscular dystrophy of some sort or a family member, but they're here to support it, and I mean, it means everything.
I was lucky enough to be the MC this morning, and a reminder, our annual MDA Telethon will be on Channel 5 in prime time Sunday, August 27th, live from Grant's Farm. More on that in the weeks to come. Well, they let the dogs out on the Arch grounds today. The special message, they were barking. The Arch grounds went to the dogs today. A dog walk was held at the Gateway Arch National Park. Participants and their canines became Bark Rangers. They serve as ambassadors of responsible and safe pet handling at national parks. They were praising pollinators this weekend at the Butterfly House. Pollinator Fair Days celebrated those small insects and animals that have a large impact on nature. The weekend included special games and crafts. The Missouri History Museum said farewell to its 1904 World's Fair exhibit today, but it's just temporary. Officials promise it will return bigger and better next spring. And there you have it, 5 on Your Side at 10. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And now, with a special edition, here's Frank Cusimano and Sports Plus.